Have I had a little tiny bit of filler in my lips done before? I have, so that I could experience what it was actually like, so that I knew what my patients were going through. I knew what it felt like to have a needle put into my lip. I knew what it felt like to go through the downtime process, what the bruising, what the firmness, what the lumps, the bumps, the asymmetry, what all of that feels like. I needed to know.
You're listening to Just a Pinch podcast with Injector Kristen. Join me and industry experts as we discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of the aesthetics, wellness, and fitness industries.
Welcome back to Just a Pinch podcast. You are here today for a solo episode with myself, Kristen Gem, aka Injector Kristen. Please excuse my phone sex voice. It's that time of year. It's allergies, it's plague, it's everything. So bear with me. We're going to sound a little raspy today, and hopefully I don't lose my voice. But it was important for me to try to get on and put this episode out as quickly as possible, even though I got kind of dropped the ball for the past couple weeks on this. So to get right to the nitty gritty, I had the absolute pleasure of being selected by Self Magazine to be in an article of theirs that they did. They're doing this really great series called Faces. And with Faces, they are taking groups of people from all different backgrounds, and the only thing that we have in common is really our age. And so I was part of group age 37. And what they are doing is they are bringing us to New York. They are kind of stripping you down, telling you to come in absolutely no hair done, absolutely no makeup, wearing like a white t-shirt or white tank top, and photographing us. And then putting it out there for the world to see. You want to talk about intimidating and eye-opening and also empowering. Very, very empowering. It was an experience. I knew that my personal story of being a part of this expose was going to be a little bit, what is the word? Not risque, but touchy, and was going to be a little bit polarizing and even angering to people, because I realize it's completely not lost on me that I'm not your typical 37-year-old when it comes to interventions that I've had done. And one really cool thing about this project that we did was, hopefully everybody was really honest, but they asked us, what have you had done? Have you had Botox, fillers, lasers? What's your skincare routine? They want to know what we were all doing for our anti-aging and for our skincare and our general care of our aging process. So I had a couple of options here. Option number one was be completely blatantly honest and talk about it all. Tell the world every single thing that I've had done, including, they ask, what do you spend on things? What are you spending on your self-care? So that was option one, be completely transparent. Option number two would have been to whittle it down, be likable, right? Be somebody that people can really mesh with and feel like they are you. Option number three would have been to say, I don't do any interventions at all, and I just take good care of my skin and I wear sunscreen. It's all in my cleanser. No, that's not right either. So I opted for option number one. So I opted to be really, really, really transparent about the things that I've had done, even to the point where when I was submitting my information to Self about the financials, I kind of made them a little spreadsheet of what my cost is. So what I actually pay, my wholesale cost. Being a med spa owner and an injector, it's kind of expected that I do the things. I do have access to them. I have access to it at wholesale cost. So it is easier and more affordable for me to do the maintenance things. I also put together what the retail cost would be. So not only did I say what I'm actually spending out of pocket on all of my self-care, but what the average person who is not in my position could expect to pay for the same things. So once again, I knew that this was going to get lit up, expecting it, totally expecting it. You're doing that interview and you're talking about all the things that you're doing. You're going over all of it, and in your head, you're kind of tallying it up and trying to make sense of it all yourself. Because, how often, if you get things done, how often do you sit down and really take inventory of every single little thing that you've ever done over the years? I'm 37. I've been doing this stuff since I was about 28, 29. So almost 10 years. It adds up. You forget about things. You really have to rack your brain. It was, it was such an eye-opening process, because it did open I've always known that I do a lot for my self-care and my skincare. I know my skincare routine can be daunting to many, and many people wouldn't choose to do as many steps or products that I do. But when it came to the actual interventions of what I've had done, so actual procedures, I wasn't upset by it. I really wasn't. I think compared to a lot of my peers in this industry, not typical 37-year-olds, but peers in my industry, I'd be willing to bet that I've done a lot less than most in this industry when it comes to procedures. I found that my list was overwhelmingly devices. So things like microneedling and lasers, all of those, tri-lift, CO2, cool peels, RF microneedling, skin pen microneedling, all of those things. So it really pointed out to me that my view on my own anti-aging skincare routine is really based around collagen support and healthy aging. I don't necessarily want to change the way that I look. I'm not trying to over sculpt my face with fillers, genuinely changing the way that I look, trying to look like somebody else, trying to change my features. I'm not drastically doing that by any means. The injectables that I've done some radius injections, whether it's hyper dilute for my neck and chest in lieu of doing an energy device, or full strength in my face to replace lost fat pads and bone loss. So really the filling form of injectables that I've had done, I really realized were more restorative versus cosmetic per se. And I know I've talked about my theory on the differences with that. I don't want to look done. I really don't. That's not my goal. Keeping up with my Xeomin injections every 3 to 4 months, that is just to help tone down wrinkles up in the upper face and relax things where they need to be relaxed. Doing things like PRP, PRF for hair restoration. Again, keyword restoration. So while my list of procedures that I've had done can be pretty extensive, the gist of it that it came down to for me when I got to really take inventory of it myself was what I preach to my patients of skin restoration and skin health, keeping my skin healthy, using medical grade skincare products, all the collagen support. So anything that's going to be stimulating collagen and elastin, targeting my pigment with melasma and freckling and sun damage, and then just small sprinkles of filler and restorative type of injectables to help maintain. I'm trying to maintain. If I could dip myself into a vat of something and just maintain where I am as long as I can, just to have that healthy aging, that's what I would do. But with that being said, let's put me, apples to apples back into this Self magazine expose on 37-year-olds. And we're going to look at the lineup of who they had on and what people have done. And the range is, it's amazing. Everything from people that just kind of wash their face with soap and water and have never worn sunscreen a day in their life and have been blessed by the most incredible genetics. God, I'm jealous. I'm so jealous of those that really don't have to put in a lot of effort to maintain their anti-aging and their skin health and looking healthy. But I'm unfortunately not one of those people. I am Scandinavian. I am, Western European, which means I age like moldy bread. I don't age like wine. We don't tend to get better with age. We tend to get musty, crusty, and wrinkly and sun damaged from our lack of melanin. So I require a little bit more maintenance to maintain my state of anti-aging and skin health. But they had everybody. They had men, they had women, they had mothers, they had, those of us who have never had children before, every socioeconomic status you could imagine. And everybody's skincare routines were very different. Some people have had Botox or a little bit of filler, whether it be under eye or lip or masseter Botox for TMJ versus just going and getting, esthetician services like facials and chemical peels and things like that. So there was a really wide range. And like I said before, I knew coming into this project that with me being really honest and open about what I've had done and where I'm at with things, that I was going to open myself up for a lot of criticism. Self Magazine does not just pitch to the medical aesthetics industry. So my typical, peer group on social media are like-minded individuals, a lot in the medical aesthetics, med spa industry, skincare. So we're all doing the things. So it's not weird to us. It's not weird to us to see each other doing things or being laid out for a week with some laser, or being bruised for some injectables. But anytime that you talk about plastic surgery, medical aesthetics, lasers, injectables, anything that can be portrayed as self-changing, appearance changing, or luxury, you're going to be met with resistance, and for a variety of reasons. I think that some people have had bad experiences with it themselves, and so they just have a bad taste in their mouth, so they don't support any of those things. A lot of people, and this is where I think a lot fall into, is just sheer ignorance, and not in a mean way of saying somebody's being ignorant, in the fact that they genuinely just don't know what these interventions and procedures actually are and what they do. You talk to, if you were to pool a big group of husbands and boyfriends and say, what if these people had done, and show them a bunch of people with a terrible filler and awful plastic surgery, they would look at it and say, bad Botox. Tell me I'm wrong with that. Everybody thinks that bad Botox is the key to everybody looking crazy from bad plastic surgery or bad aesthetic interventions. So it's not their fault. It's just you're uneducated about what these certain interventions and procedures can do. Lasers aren't going to up and change the way that somebody looks. It's going to enhance the quality of your skin. It might give you some tightening. It might smooth out some wrinkles, but you still look like you. You don't look done. You don't look like you have been altered in a way. It's one of the most natural looking things that you could possibly do. Same with microneedling, all of that. It's not going to change the way that you look to other people. You're just going to look like your skin is healthier. Now, when it comes to injectables, yeah, there's a wide variety of bad work to mediocre work to really, really great work out there. So I can see how, to the untrained eye, injectables could be really harshly judged. Me saying that I get Xeomin injections every 3 to 4 months year round, it probably sounds like a ton. It's really not. And it's just maintaining how I look. It's not changing how I look. I have a lot of natural asymmetry in my face, and I've actually chosen to not try to address it that much, really. I preach that to patients where, there's some things with asymmetries that we can modify and slightly correct, but if we're shooting for perfect symmetry and correction, we're going to end up making somebody look very strange, very altered, and typically much more odd than if we had just left the asymmetry alone to begin with. And I have that myself. My left eye has a natural ptosis of my lid. Could I be doing my Xeomin injections differently to try to open that up more and make it more symmetrical? Sure, yeah, I could, but I'm choosing not to. My cheekbones, they sit at different heights. Our faces are not symmetrical. I have more volume in my left cheek than in my right cheek. My mouth, oh my God, my mouth it's probably the most asymmetric with my lips and the muscle movement around my mouth. It's been that way since I was a little kid. If I see pictures of myself from when I was about 4 years old, I can see it there. And as we get older, our asymmetries typically just start to show more and stick out more. It's not something that I chase. I'm not doing filler and toxin and this and that trying to make my lips perfect, because to me, they're perfectly fine. I don't want them any bigger. I have big juicers at baseline, thanks to mom. I don't want to change my lips. Have I had a little tiny bit of filler in my lips done before? I have, so that I could experience what it was actually like, so that I knew what my patients were going through. I knew what it felt like to have a needle put into my lip. I knew what it felt like to go through the downtime process, what the bruising, what the firmness, what the lumps, the bumps, the asymmetry, what all of that feels like. I needed to know. And that was a long time ago. So I'd be willing to bet there is nothing left in there at all anymore. So when it comes to now the comment section of this article, oh boy, where to start? First off, I will say that absolutely nothing that was said hurt my feelings. None of it did. Nobody said anything that I wouldn't have already thought myself or considered. And knowing where most people's comments come from, of being a place of ignorance or just not knowing, or just plain old assumptions, or also you just have plain old keyboard warriors, people who think that they know exactly what's going on and who you are, and also just kind of forget that you're a person and a human, and that you do have thoughts and feelings and go about a daily life the same way that they do. So there's all of the above within that. So the photographs that were taken, they posted 2 of me, and the one that showed up in the social media post was what I call my mugshot. So it's stone face, no smile, no nothing, expressionless, staring forward. So where do we see most, if not all, of our asymmetries and issues, if we want to call it issues, right? The things that make us unique in our face when we're not making an expression. A smile can hide a lot. And when you ask me to stone face, not smile, stare straight ahead, no makeup, no nothing, everything is just raw and what it is, you're going to see all of the imperfections. You're going to see the asymmetries. And so that's what got posted of mine onto social media. If you go to the actual article, which if you go into the show notes, I'll have everything linked directly to the article on social media as well as onto their website. They posted one of me with a slight smile and then again my stone face mugshot. So with my mugshot photo, you can really see my asymmetries. You can see my left eye ptosis. You can see my melasma, my pigment issues, my freckling, natural freckling, and you can see the asymmetries in my mouth and in my lips and just the musculature of it. And one of the comments was somebody saying that I had botched work. That I had botched work that was making me crooked. So here's a lesson to all, right with that one, that I've not had botched work that made me crooked, that those were all of my natural, God-given asymmetries, and that's me normal and natural. And just because I've had injectables done, just because I've had interventions done, it doesn't mean that I targeted those things at all. And in my case, I didn't. So now you have somebody in the comment section, just because I said that I've had things done, they now think it's okay to go in and make negative comments about my appearance. And like I said, my feelings are not hurt. You're not yeah, I'm crooked. I am, and it's okay. But it's an interesting social construct to me that because you admit to one thing, somebody thinks that it is giving them free rein to tear you down or to try to make comments. People would say, oh, the people that haven't had any work done, they look better than the people that do. That might be true. I'm not saying that that's a false statement, but that's an interesting construct to go based off of. That's an interesting piece of information to make it about, as opposed to anything else. So those people chose to make it about, what have you had done? People perseverate. What have you had done? See, everybody that has work done looks worse than the people that just let themselves be natural and not do anything. Because they want to validate their feelings with that, because they're likely not getting work done either. Either they're scared to get it done or don't have the resources to do it. It's their echo chamber. It's what makes them feel validated in their decision or their limitations. So once again, I am completely fine with every single comment in there. I just found it very fascinating to see socially how people would react. One set of things that a lot of people said that I will say that I 100% do not agree with at all. They were kind of ripping into self about saying that this is really misleading, that this article is really misleading because these people have had work done. I don't think it was misleading at all. I think it was actually the opposite. I think that it was very eye-opening and very honest of a discussion, because at age 37, the odds of somebody having had some sort of little tiny tweak done, it's up there. This is when we're starting to age. This is when we're starting to see things. So it's not abnormal at all to go in and get a little bit of Botox or get a drop of filler or think about doing some microneedling or a facial. And Self Magazine didn't hide that. They actually highlighted it. They asked us what we've had done. They asked us what our skincare regimens are. So that's as forthcoming as we can get. What they claimed was that these were untouched photos and that we were not wearing makeup and there were no filters, all of which were completely true. In no way did they ever state that those of us that were part of this project had never had any aesthetic interventions done. It was never, ever a part of their statement. So I think that this was actually really eye-opening and very forthcoming about what we've had done, because there's not many articles. I don't know if there's any actually, or interviews with people from all walks of life that will sit down and tell you without a drop of makeup on their face, without a filter, without anything retouched, with a mugshot getting posted, and say exactly what you've had done. You're being really raw and honest and opening yourself up to a lot. So I think that this article and this project, the Faces Project, is fantastic. And honestly, I can't wait to see the rest of the ages that they do. They're doing all different decades. I know they're doing 26-year-olds. They're doing, I can't remember what age in the 50s and 60s. Like, they're going to hit it all. And I can't wait to see those groups. And I can't wait to see what people are doing and what their thoughts are, and what they're doing for their skincare and any interventions they've had done. And also lifestyle. Are you a smoker? Do you drink? What do you do? So I thought this project was really great. And in the show notes below, take a look at things, read through the article and read everybody's bios and the little articles that were typed up about everybody. I thought they were really, really great. I thought they were just very truthful. So for all of the comments in the social media posts that they did saying that people felt let down and duped because people have had aesthetic work, that doesn't equal a filter. That doesn't equal makeup. This is real life. And in real life, people get anti-aging and aesthetic treatments done, and that's the truth of it. So I think that it was really, really great for that. Okay, so my one piece of criticism for the article. So everybody in there, you can't see this, I don't know why I'm showing you. Everybody in the social media page on the carousel, you had just they asked name, location, occupation, do you have children, have you had cosmetic work done, estimated annual amount spent on skincare. And then below that was a quote that they pulled from your interview. So, self, what did you do to me here? Okay, so on the social media quote that they pulled from me from my interview from the website, it says, everybody's different, but in general, I'm a less is more type of injectable person. Which I completely agree with, and I stand behind that. And if you go onto the website and actually read the article, it makes full sense. I talk about how with myself and with my patients, I really am not injectable heavy. I'm more device, I'm more skincare, skin health. It makes sense there. But when you pull that little snippet and you pop it on right below my list of cosmetic work and estimated annual amount spent on skincare, I sound crazy. So people definitely jumped all over that, and they were like, yep, Kristen G there with a list a mile long, and says that she's a less is more type of a girl. Now, I know that's reaching. It's not what I said, but people will pull from it what they want. So ultimately, here's what they said about the work that I've had done. CO2 laser treatments for chest lines, full face Xeomin injections every 3 to 4 months, smooth PDO threads on neck and chest, full face radio frequency or skin pen microneedling combined with Cartessa Tetra cool peel laser about every 4 months, Radiesse in cheeks, jawline, neck, chest, chemical peels 3 times a year, and monthly dermaplaning. Now, estimated annual amount spent on skincare. I estimated my wholesale cost to be for a given year about $5,300. Estimated retail price is slightly over $25,000. Okay, so that puts it in perspective. And a lot of that pricing that I figured out through there is a lot of the lasers. I do a lot of lasers. I do a lot of microneedling. And if you look at series and packages and retail price of that, it gets up there. And honestly, my skincare routine is probably to blame for a lot of that as well. But in a nutshell, that's what I got to be a part of. I got to go to New York. I got to be stripped down, put out there for the world to see in my natural form with my flaws showing, without hair done, no makeup, no filters, no retouching, questionable lighting. They definitely didn't go out of their way to try to, glamorize you or make you look, better than just raw. They were not trying to, give you a glamour shot and make you look the best that you could. They wanted you off the street, and that's exactly what they got. So I encourage you all, go check out the social media post, go check out the website post. All the links will be below. I thought it was really eye-opening, and keep an eye out on their social media and the website for all of their future projects with the Faces Project. I think it was fantastic, and it was an absolute honor to be a part of.